Well, thank you so much for joining the Regina Reigns Show, where we empower others to succeed in every area of their lives. We're very excited because we have a dynamic guest. Her name is Dr. Michele Vaughn, and she knows all about empowerment, and she is going to share her background. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Vaughn.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yes, well, you look awesome, and our viewers are in for a treat. So, there's so many things I can ask you. So, let me just start off by saying you're such an inspiration to so many people. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Where do I begin? Okay. No, no, no. Just a little bit about me is I am the baby of four. My mother and father have four kids. I'm the baby. And I was an athlete my entire life. I ran track. Track was my sport. And originally I went to, graduated high school. I live in a suburb outside of Chicago, here in Lake County, Illinois. And I originally went to college on a full track scholarship. That was my whole goal, was to just see myself at the Olympics one day. I love Jackie Joyner Kersee. That was my girl.
Oh.
That was my girl. But I had a short-lived experience as a college athlete due to some decisions that I decided to make when I was in school. So because of those decisions that I made, the results and the outcomes produced who I am today, which it was a tough journey, but I do not regret any of it. And we'll get more into it as you lace out those questions for me. But just a little bit about me is that I am a woman who loves to inspire. Simply, I am inspired by my own trials and tribulations. That inspires me to continue to keep moving forward because I know if I continue to wake up and still breathe, it's an opportunity for me.
All
So,
right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
Um, so I
Yes.
originally went to college on a full track scholarship. And my first year in college, I placed in the nationals. I placed fifth. I was a
Oh,
long
wow.
I was a long jumper, so I placed fifth in the nationals. But then my second year in college, here we go again, not having discipline outside, off the track and field, in terms of my relationships and the circles that I used to hang around, just being young and making those decisions based on, at that time, what I thought was good decisions. But my sophomore year, I ended up becoming pregnant. And it was the first time that I had sex. And I tell girls this whenever I talk to them, we use the condom. But you know what? That is not a guarantee. The only thing that's a guarantee is to keep your legs closed. You don't want to have
Yes.
a baby. No, seriously, they need to understand that. That's the only thing that's a guarantee is to abstain from having sex until you're married, until you're ready, at least. But in any event, I became pregnant, and at that time, I wasn't in the same mind frame, Regina, that I'm in right now as a young woman. I immediately thought that, you know what, I'm not going to have this baby. I'm not going to have the baby. I'm going to, come back to school. I'm going to have an abortion. I was in that mind frame that I was going to have an abortion. My mother was a Christian woman. She was active in the church. I felt like I was an embarrassment coming back home. But it wasn't until I came back home when the love was so overwhelming that I knew that I had to carry this baby, this new purpose that was developing on the inside of me. I knew that I had to birth this new purpose. And it was because, and I tell my son today, he's a freshman in college now. People think we brothers and sisters, but that's my son. He's my son, Regina. But I tell people, and I tell him that it was because I decided to have him. He saved me, literally, in that moment. He became my new purpose, and I'm a faith-driven woman. I love God. I don't stuff him down people's throat, but I don't hide them to make people comfortable either. And I asked God to help me to develop my purpose off of the track, because the only thing that I knew, Regina, at the time was that I ran fast and I could jump long. I didn't know that I was intelligent. I didn't know that off the track and field that I could think at a higher level academically. I had no clue that that was who I was on the inside. But it wasn't until I began to carry that baby for 9 months that I realized that if I could birth a baby, I could birth my dreams. And that's the
Wow.
here today.
Wow. Wow. So let me say, because actually that was going to be my question. Not only were you carrying a child, you were
Yeah,
carrying your purpose.
absolutely.
So what about what would you say to everyone who is listening and that will share this video, that if you don't know your purpose, How can you find your purpose?
See, this is the thing, and I tried to write it in. I published my first book in 2012, called "If You Could Birth a Baby, You Could Birth Your Dreams." And in the book, I try to lay out my 9-month journey as a pregnant teen during that time, and I align the pregnancy with correlation with having a mentor. It's very important if you're a teen mom, if you're pregnant, or if you're a single mom, and you're not a teen mom, you're just a single mom. It's very important that in order to get to that next level, into that birthing room, right, that you align yourself with someone who's qualified to see what you can't see. Because in my book, I lay out the details of how when you're pregnant, you have a qualified nurse alongside of you, telling you how far the contractions are, telling you when you're ready to push. And just like that nurse, you're going to have a qualified doctor who's in a different position than you are when now it's time for you to push. That person that's going to come alongside of you, aside the single mom and the teen mom, has to be a person that is qualified to tell them when to push and when not to push, where to go and where not to go, because they're at a different vantage point than you are. They can see what you can't see. So you literally are depending on them, even though it is painful, even though you may feel like you want to, push, or you feel like this is something for you. They're telling you no, and you have to listen. Why? Because they're the ones who are where you want to be. So I think it's very important for any teen mom, single mom, whomever, in order to get to that next phase in your life, in order to birth your dreams, you have to align yourself with a mentor or someone who's going to coach you to the finish line, someone who doesn't care about your whining, someone who's not going to allow you to throw in a towel for a lifetime. You may have a throw in a towel for a moment, but it's another round coming.
Yes.
So you have to get back up.
Yes.
We've been too long for this. And so at the end of the day, it boils down to this, like I said in the beginning. If I wake up, I'm still breathing, it's still purpose, ready for me to unravel. So at the end of the day, if you're still alive after that horrible breakup, you understand, and he left you, and he hurt your feelings, if you're still alive, it's still purpose waiting for you to unwrap itself. You understand what I'm saying? So it's all about linking yourself up with someone who's going to speak to your potential, someone who's going to speak life into you, because words carry a lot of weight. That's why you have physical abuse and verbal abuse, because words carry a lot of weight. And so when you align yourself with someone who's speaking life into you, you have no excuse but to sprout, but to live. Because they're pouring that water on something that was almost dead. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. Go ahead and preach. Go ahead and preach, Dr. Vaughn.
No, but that's what I would say, Regina.
Well, this has been such an enlightening conversation.
Yeah.
Because I'm very big on women's empowerment, but also just empowerment and mentorship in general. So who was that person for you? Who was that person that pushed you to excel that spoke life into you? Who was your person?
Okay. Well, I won't say person. I actually was blessed to have a couple of people in my life during the right time when I needed them. The primary person in my life right now, and always have been, is my mother. My mother is just, besides Jesus Christ, she is just awesome. She is like an angel on earth. She is a woman who has exemplified and demonstrated to me what faith really looks like in the midst of trials and tribulations. I've never seen her giving up, and she's always been encouraging to me. She's never judged me. I've made so many mistakes, Regina, along my path, and continue to make them even today. But she has always been a woman to correct me, to suggest to me some other ideas that I should think about in other avenues. And then aside from my mother, I've been mentored professionally by a lady by the name of Dr. Sharon Sanders Fanier. This woman, when I tell you pushes, she pushes. You understand what I mean? She literally pushes me, and she helped me produce things that I didn't even know that I was capable of. So it's been Dr. Sharon Sanders Fanier professionally, and it's been my mother, Sherry Vaughn, spiritually. Combining the two, this is what you have.
Yeah, absolutely. And just from a lot of the reporters that I mentored, and one in particular, I've pushed her, and I felt she appreciated it the most. And when
Yeah.
you have that combination, when you have a mentor and you're learning from them and you're humble, yes, you are a result of what can happen.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me, how did you, okay, so you went from being in college, being a track star, then having a child. And
Mm.
so how did you get back to
Ah.
the road, the journey of becoming a doctor?
Yeah. A doctor. Wow. Okay. So to try to bring my story and do it like this. Okay, so literally, and so I had my son, 96. I had my son, and then also in 96, I got married to my son's father, and we were two teens married. We didn't know what I do meant. I do the dishes, you do the laundry. That's what that meant.
I love it.
But we tried to turn our lemons into lemonade at that time. He was the only guy in his family. He came from a family of five. He was the oldest of five. Grew up in the city of Chicago. The only one in his family to ever attend college. So he was first generation. And we met in college. He was a basketball player. I ran track. Long story short, he was unable to retain a good academic standing, so he lost his scholarship. We got married. In the midst of being married, now here you have two teenagers lost with a child with a high school diploma, which is limited education. No true work experience, but we're working in factories. We're working wherever the temp agency will send us. And so here we are now progressing. We're moving forward. We're having relationship issues because we're not mature enough to handle marriage at this time. And in 1999, I got pregnant with my second son. So I have two sons. I got pregnant with my second son, and then in 2000, we decided that this marriage was not going to work, and that's when we divorced. And literally in 2000, that was my defining moment for myself. That was my moment, my aha moment, I would say, where I had my own conversation with God. I didn't go to my mama. I didn't even know Dr. Sharon Sanders Foyer at the time. And I asked God, what did he want me to do with my life? And all I heard was go back to school. And I'm the kind of person, just like I pursued track, just like how I trained, when I make up my mind to do something, I pursue the finish line and I train to get to where I see myself going. So I immediately went and enrolled into the community college here in Lake County, and I found a job part-time working at a fitness center. I was making $500 a month, $6,000 a year. I was living in poverty, sleeping on the floor, trying to make a better life for my sons. And I never forget going to the public aid office. The lady asked me, did I want a link card? I denied her at that time. I said, I don't want a link card. I don't want a handout. Only thing I need is your medical insurance for my sons. I'm going to college, and one day I'm going to be successful. Regina, let me tell you what happened, because I began to speak out of my mouth. These are some of the things I see myself doing. So, God, if you're going to have me go back to school, I don't want just a regular degree. I want the highest degree on the planet that you could possibly get. I want the PhD. How am I going to get there? I don't know. Am I smart enough? I don't know. But all I know is that that's my finish line. So from 2000, I decided to go back to school, and I took 19 credits per semester working a part-time job. I would clean people's cars for $10, and I took another second job as a track coach. So I was super busy. And in 2001, I accomplished my associate's degree. In 2003, I transferred right to Columbia College. I accomplished my bachelor's degree in psychology, because at that time I thought that I wanted to be a psychologist and help every at-risk teen mom who's just like me. And I was just able to speed through the academics quickly because I never looked up. I just kept my head down and I kept pursuing my education, because I knew that every time I would go home and I can really see my sons, because I'm in school at night, not only be able to kiss them, they deserve better. They didn't ask to be here. I brought them in this world, and it was my job now as a single mother, and they're fatherless. And now I skipped this part, but their father is now doing 25 years in prison. I had to go get it. I had no help. No one was here to help me. I didn't have no excuses. I didn't want to be I didn't want to lean on a system. I didn't want to be a part of the statistics that said that I would fail. I had no excuse. So I had every opportunity to make my dreams come to pass and give my sons a better life, because they motivated me. And so in 2003, that's when I was able to get my bachelor's of psychology degree. And literally, I went from 2004, my first job, as a site coordinator, where I meet Dr. Sharon Sanders Foyer, who gave me my first position, and she has been in my life ever since. But I went from making $6,000 a year to six figures in a matter of 4 years. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Wow.
God has progressed me
Wow.
so fast. I call it the FedEx package. The FedEx syndrome, what he did in my life. I went from literally in 2004, I was sleeping on the floor, and then in 2006, I'm a homeowner. I went from sleeping on
Wow.
my sitting on my seatbelt because it wouldn't click because I didn't have a nice car, but I had a car that'd give me the A, B, sometimes C, and maybe D location to driving a Jaguar. I went to,
Wow.
and so that's the whole thing. And then I just continue to progress. And so I worked for the Boys and Girls Club of America for 2 years, and that's where I received most of my professional training in terms of education. I oversaw their education center there. And then I transitioned to a community college as a recruiter. And I literally went from, I tell young ladies this whenever I speak to them in terms of my salary, because I think it's important that they understand how education can definitely be the big payoff if you make it work for you, education completion, but what is your degree going to do for you? So literally in 2004, here I am, $500 a month. I get a new position. Now I'm making $27,000 a year. I thought I was rich at the time. I didn't even know. Listen, Regina, I didn't even know what a salary was. I was so used to per hour. When you say annual, what you talking about? but you understand what I'm saying? So I had to progress even in my thinking and level up in my thinking. And so I went from 500 a month to 6,000 a year to 27,000 a year. And I earned that for 2 years, and then I got a position at a community college as a high school recruiter. They hired me to go out to all the high schools, 19 high schools, and inspire the students that the college was for them. I love my job, and I was earning $36,000 a year in that position. With $36,000 a year, not on public assistance, God opened the door for me to own my first home for my sons and I in a beautiful neighborhood where the annual average salary is $80,000 for a family. I don't know how I got in this position. I just know that he opened the door for me to be here in this position to own our first home with no money down. And then from that moment, in 2006, from 2006 to 2008, I was a recruiter. In 2008, I applied for a promotion at the community college that I worked for the Associate Dean for Community Education. Regina, I had no administration experience. I didn't know what it was like to lead staff of 40. I didn't know what it was like to lead faculty members, to develop partnerships. All I knew was that the position would allow me to go in a community and inspire people to pursue their education. That's all I saw. Do you know, people say, oh, you're foolish for pursuing that position. You don't have any experience. But I have faith. And I believe that if I have faith, I know that if the position's for me, it's going to open up. What happened? I pursued the position. 2 years later, I got the promotion. The position, I always tell moms this, the position was, salary was for $59,000 a year. I thought that I would be super rich with that type of money. Do you know, when I got the position, they called me and said, we're not going to pay you $59,000. When I'm thinking to myself, well, I wouldn't pay me $59,000 either. I need some training. And to myself, I'm thinking. The lady said, Regina, she said, we're going to pay you $72,000.
Woo! All right.
Wait. You're going to do it? So I went from 2004, $500 a month, to 2008, $72,000 a year in 4 years. In the midst of that, I'm still pursuing my education. I completed my master's degree in 2006 in counseling, and I completed my PhD degree in 2012, and also wrote my first book, If You Could Birth a Baby, You Could Birth Your Dreams. My life has been like on this, for the past 10 years, it's just been moving up, and it hasn't been an easy climb. It's been super difficult, but because of my faith, I believe that's how I am that's why I am here where I am today. And it would be horrible of me to not lend myself and the resources that I have and I'm aware of back out to single moms who need this type of information and coaching along the way. And that's what my life is just all about. That's just the bottom line.
That's wonderful. Actually, it would be a disservice if you didn't lend your talents because of everything that you've been through, you've overcome, and that you can offer others. I mean, I think that's amazing, and I agree with you. I think it's very important to not only share your progress, but also to share the financials. I mean, to me, education can open doors, and you make more money in the long run of doing the right thing than crime. So I'm glad you shared that. And then also, faith can open doors. I mean, faith and favor It's a winning combination. I mean, you're a perfect example. So,
Well,
what are some of the programs that you offer?
all right, so there's a series of so we just became, we're a new nonprofit in our local community here, the Teen and Single Mothers Resource Center, and because we're new, we provide free mobile services to various churches, schools, organizations. So basically, their single moms are our single moms. What we're telling the community here is that we want to come under your roof at your location and provide these various services to the single moms who attend your organization regularly. And some of them, I can't remember them all, but we provide on-the-spot GED tutor service.
So, if someone wants to get in touch with you, how can they reach out to you directly?
Absolutely. So if someone wants to get in touch with me as it pertains to the Teen and Single Mothers Resource Center, because we are always looking for volunteers, it's volunteer driven, as well as donations, I would just ask them to go to our website, which is www.teenandsinglemom.com. And on our webpage, you'll find our contact information. Also, if someone is looking to get in contact with me to speak at their university or school or organization, I have a personal website at www.drmv.net, drmv.net. On there, you'll be able to find my email as well as my phone contact, and it's as simple as that.
Okay, excellent. And what advice would you like to give those who are interested in pursuing academic goals or just reaching their dreams in general? What would you tell them?
It's really simple. The reality is that we all have purpose. I don't care who you are, what you've gone through, how many hurdles life has presented you. If the hurdle is in your way, it's because you're qualified to jump it, okay? And your success must be intentional. Period, point blank, meaning that when you wake up every day, your success depends on you. It doesn't depend on your situation. It doesn't depend on the people who you invite in your inner circle. It literally depends on you. Your faith has to work. Everyone has been given a measure of faith. Your faith has to work in your situation. You can make it. You can do it. We all have purpose. You're not barren. You have much to produce in this world. It's a matter of taking the time to figure out what that is, and then when you figure it out, move forward.
Wow, very powerful. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we just look forward to all of the wonderful things that you're going to do.
Thank you so much for having me, Regina. It's been awesome.
All right, take care.
You too. Bye-bye.